I'm a Christian and a virgin, and I plan on waiting until marriage before I have sex. However, I keep having sexual urges. How should I respond?
Well, the first thing I would say to that is thank God for your sexual urges.
Hmm.
In church, especially for Christians, Bible believing Christians, a lot of times what happens is we start to create a really strong negative association with our sexual urges and impulses.
Mm.
Goes something like, yeah, I want this to be there, but I need it just to be there for when I get married. And this is really annoying and frustrating that it's there today. And, a colleague of mine, in our practice, Josh Spurlock, regularly would tell clients, and I loved it. He said, have you praised God for your sexual urges? To
Hmm.
which most people are like, what? Why would I do that? And he would go on from there and say, because that's a blessing. That's something God ordained that he purposed. And so I would say, when we start praising God for those urges, what we're doing is connecting that with his will, that God has a place in our
Mm.
sexual desires. He's not apart from them,
Wow.
which is important again, because sexuality has been so corrupted that there's almost a sense like sex is over here and God is over here.
Mm.
And so when we praise and say, God, this is from you, the fact that I have these desires and longings is from you, and I want to thank you for them, changes that dynamic. And the second thing that I would want to be doing, I'm going to advocate a book. There's a book called Soul Virgins. Doug Rosenau writes that. He's a preeminent Christian sex therapist, one of the few that's out there. He does trainings, and we work with him and have trained under him. But he has a really excellent book just addressing single sexuality in a way that's whole and good. So I'd want people to consider checking that out, looking at that. And probably the third thing, and this is just maybe more along the practical lines too. I will tell young people and people who are dating, because sometimes people are dating later in life. A great way to handle your sexual urges is don't put yourself in a no-win situation. I can't tell you how many people who will come in guilt-stricken and shameful and say, gosh, I had such a hard time with my girlfriend or boyfriend the other night. I feel so guilty and so shameful. I don't know what to do about that. And, usually the first question that I'll ask after I just really affirm them for coming in and sharing this with me, because I want to hold it with them, is just to say, can you tell me where this happened?
Mm.
It's really interesting because people really don't feel comfortable with public displays of affection. So you can guess the answer to where this happened is almost always somewhere very, very private.
Yeah.
And I say something, I'll say, you guys should have this desire for each other. I'm glad that there's passion there, because that tells me you could potentially marry. And if this is going to be your spouse, I really want you to be drawn to them. I want you to have a hard time keeping your hands off. That's not a bad thing. But consider where the two of you are putting yourselves. In this period where you're dating. Is it really a good idea to put yourself in the situation you just told me about, and hope and pray to God that you won't feel incredibly drawn to this person and they won't feel incredibly drawn to you? Let's not put ourselves in a no-win. Maybe, we spend time and we get to know each other, but we do it in a semi, public location. Maybe we don't go over to each other's apartment late at night. So that would just be something practical that I've run into with clients that I've worked with, just saying, hey, I get it. And thank God that you have that sexual impulse. Thank God that it's strong in you and in them. If you guys get married, that's great. I want you to have passion. But in the meantime, we need to probably think about the situation we put ourselves in, specifically the location. I joke with my clients sometimes. I say, well, if you were at a restaurant, would that have happened? Or if you were at your coffee shop, if you were out at the park and walking together, spending time together, would that have happened? And the answer is no. So
That's so good. I love the three things: the praise God for your sexual urges, the book Soul Virgins, which I have recently dove into, and it is So good. Such a
Mhm.
powerful resource. And then the third thing is, are you putting yourself in a no-win
Mm.
situation?
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are all things to apply immediately. I love it.